How do I tell if something's a solution or not? Plug it in. So if I'm going to figure out if an ordered pair is a solution or not, we got to plug it in. Well, what variables are represented in an ordered pair? X and Y. So that's an X and that's a Y, right? Well, look at the inequality that's given to you. The only variable in there is the what? X. So you only have to plug in the X. So if I put an X in here, what is the X you're going to put in for that first ordered pair? 2. So this is 2 is greater than or equal to 2. Is 2 greater than or equal to 2? Yes, it is. In fact, it's equal to. So that's an answer. If I look at the second order pair, what am I plugging in for X? Is negative 2 greater than or equal to negative 2? No, it's not. So that's not an answer. And the third one, what am I plugging in for X? A 0. If I put a 0 in there, is 0 greater than or equal to 2? It is not. So of those 3 order pairs, only one of them is a solution. Make sense, okay? And we're going to do the same thing with the second one. Here's my X. Here's my Y. Let's plug them in. What am I plugging in for X? Minus 3 times the Y. So grab your calculator, type it in. Tell me what you get. Is 4 greater than or equal to negative 2? Is 4 greater than or equal to negative 2? Yes, it is. So that's a solution. Let's plug in the next one. What am I putting in for my X? Minus 3 times the Y. Type that into your calculator. What does it give you? Is negative 4 greater than or equal to negative 2? No, it's not. So that's not a solution. And finally, we're plugging in 0, 0. What do you get when you plug in 0? What do you think? True or false? It's true. 0 is greater than a positive, right? It is true. So of those 3, 2 of them are solutions. Now I'll tell you folks, if you don't know your greater than symbol and your less than symbol yet, you're really going to need to know today. Okay, so if that's something that you struggle with, we got to get that down. All right, you'll see that we're graphing today, right? You see graphs all the way across your paper. In the past, we've graphed equations. Okay, today, if you look at all those, they're inequalities. Okay, how do I tell the difference between an equation and an inequality? What is the difference? What? Equation has an equal sign. What do inequalities have? Less than or greater than sign if it's an inequality. Typically, how many solutions are there to an equation? An equation. So if I get, and don't write this, if I give you this, how many solutions to that equation are there? Just one. Solutions, there are typically one. And we didn't do any shading, did we? On equations. Did we draw a number line? And we didn't, right? Because it's just one answer. All you have to do is just write it down. What about for inequalities? There are infinite solutions. Typically, there are infinite solutions. And I'm not asking you to write down all the solutions. I ask you to put it on a number line and then shade it, right? Because if I had you write them all down, we'd be here all day doing one problem. Because you could never write them all, okay? So in order for us to show the infinite solutions, we had to do some shading. And we are going to do that again today on our graphs, because you see at the bottom there, all of these have greater than or less than symbols in them. Okay, so a greater than symbol, and here's where I'm gonna put this in your notes so you have it if you don't know your symbols. A greater than symbol looks like that. A greater than or equal to symbol looks like that. A less than symbol is this way. And less than or equal to just has a bar underneath it. Now, if I told you in our other problems that we did, if there's an equals bar, what did you do with the circle? You filled it in. For us today on a graph, If there's an equals bar, it's going to be a solid line. Okay, so for both of these that have an equals bar, it will be a solid line. What if there wasn't an equals bar? What did you do? It was an open circle, right? Well, we're not going to be drawing circles on our graph. We're going to make the ones without bars have a dashed line. If it does not have a bar, it will be a dashed line. And then the question is, where are we going to shade? Well, if I tell you the word greater than, do you think that means above or below? Above is greater than. So greater than will both be above the line. How about for less than? Below the line or under the line. Okay, so we are actually going to skip the first four, and we're going to come back to those because those are the easiest ones on the whole paper. Okay, now I apologize for my spacing on your notes because you have a row of problems there and then the graphs are on the back, aren't they? So would you please just copy those inequalities on the back of your paper? Thank you. And just copy them down and then we'll get started. I got them right in front of you guys. They're right here. Just copy them down. Okay, so when you are graphing, what form does it normally have to be in? Which is y equals mx plus b. Everybody has heard that a gazillion times, haven't they? What variable has to be alone? The y. Look at the number 5 here. Is the y alone? It is. So we're ready to graph. Do you remember where you start? The b. Which of these numbers is the b? The 5. So you don't necessarily need to write this, but I'm going to write it. This is where you start. And then this is your slope. So I'm going to start at 5. Is that on the x-axis or the y-axis? Okay, please give me your attention. This is not difficult, but it will be if you don't pay attention. Thank you. Then what is my slope? What is the number in front of the x? 1. So where do I go from here? Up 1, right 1. And you must take this all the way to the edge, guys. It's going to be a lot of points. And don't worry, your graphs on your homework are a little bit smaller. But you got to take that all the way to the edge. I'm going to take that from you if you can't put it away. Okay? Everybody good here? Thank you. Now look at the symbol up there. Does that have an equals bar on it? It does not, which means this is going to be a dashed line. So as you're making your line, just leave little breaks in there. Okay, just make it dashed for me. And again, that needs to go all the way to the edge. Now, what symbol is that? Is that a less than or a greater than symbol? It's less than. Does that mean I shade above or below? Below. So I am going to do my shading all the way below that line. How we doing, guys? The shading doesn't have to be dark. It doesn't have to be crazy. I just got to know where the answers are. So that means that all of these ordered pairs in here, these are all solutions. Any ordered pairs up here are not solutions. Okay? What if the points are on the line? They are not solutions because this line is not solid. Okay, if this line was solid, they would be solutions. Good here? Let's try another one. Take a look at number 6. What's up with number 6? The y is all by itself, isn't it? Is it the y all by itself up front? Is it in the right order though? Does that look like y equals mx plus b? No, I want my m portion, which is where the x is, to come first. So I need you to rewrite that for me. It's a little bit backwards. All right, so now we're good to go. Where am I going to start? 3 on the y-axis. And where am I going to go? down one to the right one, down one to the right one until you make it to the very end. And yep, I get it. It's a lot of points. Okay, is there an equals bar on that symbol? Yes, there is. So is this going to be solid or dashed? Solid. Wonderful. And what is the symbol up there? Is that a greater than symbol or a less than symbol? So does that mean I'm going to shade above or below? Below. Less than is below. So, where are all of the answers? On the line would be answers because it's solid, or in the yellow part, which is where the shading is perfect. How about number 7? Number 7 is slope-intercept form? No, not in slope-intercept form, is it? How am I going to get it in slope-intercept form? Subtract the x over? So y is greater than, now those do not go together, don't put them together, negative x minus 10. Negative x minus 10. Good? The y by itself now? So where are you going to start? Negative 10, way down here. Now where am I supposed to go? To the right one, but I can't, can I? So I'm going to go up one, back one. And we're basically just cutting off this little corner down here. How about that symbol? Well, hold on, does it have an equals bar on it? It doesn't, so my line is going to be dashed. So just leave yourself some little breaks in there. Okay. And you told me that was greater than, yes? So is that going to be above or below? Above. So this is big old area in here. How about 0, 0? Is 0, 0 an answer? 0, 0 is in the yellow part, right? Okay. Looks good. Let's keep moving on. Number 8. Is the y by itself? It is not. How am I going to get the y by itself? I have to subtract the 2x first. Okay, that is the farthest thing from the y on the same side. Now, can I put together the negative 12 and the negative 2 and make it negative 14? No, you can't. I want the negative 2x to come first and then the minus 12. Now, how do I isolate the y? Did you hear how she said divide by a negative? So I got to flip that symbol over. So y is less than or equal to, folks, what is a negative over a negative? How about 2 over 6? Does 2 over 6 reduce? To 1/3. So this will be 1/3 x. I forgot to flip my symbol, didn't I? Sorry about that. I've just got to flip to be this way. And then what's negative 12 divided by negative 6? How about positive 2? Yeah, negative divided by negative. Where do I start? 2. You always start at the y-intercept. That's the b that's on the end. Where do I go? Up 1 to the right 3. And then you go down 1 and back 3. And this one's not too bad. You don't have too many points on there. This is doable. How about my line? Is it solid or is it dashed? Solid because of the equals bar. And then, am I shading above or below? Above because it's greater than. It's that top piece right there. How about 0, 0? Is it an answer in this one? Nope, it's not shaded. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, we'll keep plugging away here. How about that middle one? Is it y by itself? One step though. What do I need to do? Yeah, we're going to add this 4x over. Do I get to put the 4x and the 6 together? Nope. We're going to put the 4x first, and then the minus 6. Where do we start? Down here, negative 6. And now we're going to go where? See how it's a 4 up there? That's the same as 4 over 1, isn't it? Up 4 to the right 1. And then we can go down 4 and back 1. How about my line? Does anybody have any questions about the whole solid and dash thing? No? Okay. Are we going to shade above this or below this? Above. Which way is above? It is the left side. Sometimes when the lines get steep like this, it becomes a little bit harder to see which one's above and below, but the left side is above for this line. We're going to do one of those actually, so hold that thought. Number 10, how am I going to isolate my y? Yep. So now I have negative 2y is greater than or equal to 3x plus 8. How do I get rid of that negative 2? Yeah, please don't add 2, folks. So y, oh, I got to flip it. I divided by a negative. It's got to be flipped the other way. Does 3 divide by 2? Does it reduce? The only thing it'll tell you is 1 and 1/2, but do I want a mixed number there? So negative 3 over 2x, and then that'll be what, minus 4? All right, graph it. Starting down 4. And where you going? Where are we going from here? Oh, we're going to go down because it's negative. Yep, down 3 to the right 2. Solid or dashed? Solid. Is that a greater than sign or less than sign? It's less than, so where am I going to shade? Which is below in this case, right? Less than is below. Greater than is above. Any questions for me? You guys are super quiet today. I'm not complaining. Just saying you're super quiet today. All right, I'm just going to do number 11, and then we're going to go back to the beginning, okay? We're not going to do number 12. How do I isolate the y? Now, folks, do you see how there's already x's over there? Yeah, so I get to combine it with those x's. So this says 4y is less than or equal to, what is x minus 7x? Negative 6x. Then how do I get the 4 off of there? Now I have y is less than or equal to, does negative 6 divide by 4? It doesn't, but it will reduce. What is 6 over 4 reduce to? 3 over 2, and it's negative 3 over 2. Top and bottom both get divided by 2. That's how we reduced it. What is negative 8 over 4? And it's going to be negative. Okay, so we start at negative 2. Where are you going to go? Down 3, right 2. Up 3, back 2. Okay. And is this going to be solid or dashed? It is solid. And is that a greater than symbol or less than symbol? So I'm going to shade above or below? Below. Awesome. Like I said, we're going to leave number 12. We're not going to do number 12. We're going to go back, though, and do those first 4 at the beginning. It won't take me very long. Okay, these are the easiest ones on the page. What do you notice about those first 4 on the front of your page? Yeah, the variables are already by themselves. And what else do you notice about the variables? There's only one of them. It's either only x or only y, right? Yeah, and they're on the left side, which is what we want, right? So this says y is greater than or equal to 4, right? So go to where y is 4. There's no x in this problem, which means you can't cross the x. How am I going to draw a line through that point so I never cross the x? Horizontal. Is it going to be a solid line or a dashed line? It will be solid because of the equals bar. Now, is that a greater than symbol or less than symbol? Which means we're going to shade above. So it's just going to be that top section there. Is there another one that is going to be a horizontal line? Not next to it. The very last one. Do you see how it says y is less than or equal to -1? Go to where y is -1. If there's no x, it can't cross the x, so how are we going to draw it? Horizontal, and will it be solid or dashed? Solid. What symbol is that up there? Less than, which means we're going to shade below. Wonderful. Now, if only is a y in the problem, it's horizontal, what do you think it's going to be if there's only an x? Vertical. So go to where x is 1. If there's no y, it can never cross the y, which means it's going to be vertical. Will this be solid or dashed? Dashed. Now here's where your question comes in, Braden, because it's totally vertical, right? So I cannot shade above or below, okay? I could shade left or right. Is this less than or greater than? That's less than. We're going to shade less than it, which is this way, and it's where the arrow points. Okay? So we're going to shade on this side. If you can't do above or below, we're getting there. Uh-huh. Okay, now that says x is 0, so go to where x is 0. Now I know that I've told you if there's no y, it can't cross the y, but this point is already on the y-axis, isn't it? How do we draw lines that only have an x in them? Vertically. Is this going to be a solid vertical or a dashed vertical? It's going to be dashed. And again, I cannot shade above or below, so I have to look at my arrow. That's a greater than sign. So we're going to shade to the right. And there we go. Make sense to everybody? Okay, you have a worksheet that I'm going to pass out to you now, but I want to make some corrections to that worksheet before we start. First of all, please notice on that worksheet in front of you, the graphs are much smaller, so you don't have to make as many dots. Can we please take a look at numbers 3 and 4? What do you notice about number 3? The y is all by itself, but it's on the wrong side, isn't it? So I need you to please rewrite it. The y is going to go first. We're going to flip that sign over, and it now looks like that. But folks, aren't you supposed to start at the y-intercept? And isn't that y-intercept normally like over here to the side? So what's my y-intercept? It's 0. Okay, so you can add in there a little plus 0, so you know to start at 0. And then where would you go from 0 in this one? And then to the right one. Wonderful. Number 4 is very similar. Do you see how the y is already by itself in number 4? But it's on the wrong side. So please flip it around. Everybody see that flipped over? But again, what's your y-intercept? Normally there'd be something over here, but there's not. Please fill in a little plus 0 so you know that you're going to start at 0. And then where are you going to go? Down 1, right 1. And of course, you'll decide if it's solid or dash and if you're going to shade above or below. So that's your homework.